When you die, in addition to losing your body if you're in body form, you also lose all your souls. But unlike your body, you have a chance to get your souls back if you can make it back to the point where you died and tag up to your own bloodstain. If you do, you get all the souls you were carrying back. If you die before then, that bloodstain is gone forever along with all of its souls, and a new one appears, wherever you were before, with your souls from that previous run. This time around we're going to avoid the Red-Eye Knight, and instead go ahead and open up a shortcut back to the start of the level and pick up some useful items. There is some armor we can get. There's a treasure we can get by jumping down here, but it's not going to be particularly useful to us in this run. Worth showing off anyways, though. So, that guy's lying. You don't need a soul level of 400 at all. But you do need to be particularly careful, as there is there's a combination of height and a gotcha trap that could result in instant death. Rather, both of them could result in instant death. So you definitely want to watch out. Firebombs are a clue, actually, and if you were to equip them and use them here, you could spring the trap on this enemy. Of course, the enemy could just spring the trap on himself, and you might never know what exactly happened there. What happened there was that there were some explosive barrels that will explode when in the presence of fire, and that Dregling, with his torch, just kind of leapt at them and blew himself up. Tough times to be a Dregling, especially that one. Pathfinding failed him, and he discovered that a straight line between him and me included a pit. Alright, so it's entirely possible to not realize that you can cut these chains, but fortunately the helpful internet messages tell us to do it. Oh, there's the Dregling. He made it back. Normally when enemies are returning from their starting position, if they got way out of whack because of falling off a cliff or something, they won't notice or do anything to you unless you wind up directly in their way or take some kind of offensive action against them. Okay. Paying attention, not my strong suit sometimes, but we got out of it fine, and even if we didn't, we made it back to our bloodstain last time around, so there would be an even bigger pile of souls waiting for us this time. Rolling, by the way, is incredibly useful. This is why you want to keep your equipment weight down as much as possible. That's different between Dark Souls and Demon Souls. In Demon Souls, you only have to be carrying half of your maximum equip burden to get the fast roll. Yeah, I think it's less than half. Whereas in Dark Souls, you need to have less than a quarter. That gives me a much greater freedom when I choose my equipment. And I will definitely choose the Cling Ring, because it helps to reduce the penalty that you receive for being in soul form. Specifically, it reduces the loss of HP to 25%. Very handy. That armory we just picked up, the old ragged stuff, it has high plague resistance, and it's actually got better stats than what we have right now, but it doesn't have a helmet, which is fine. I want to keep the silver coronet, because as you can see, it increases my max MP, but these are better in basically every way, and they're female only, which is another reason why you might want to pick a female character. Because of the exclusive equipment. There's another particular piece of equipment I want to pick up later that increases your souls gained. That's female only. So that'll be exciting. Or at least lucrative. But despite the fact that this makes us weaker to fire, and we do know that there are enemies with fire attacks here, I'm going to go ahead and put on the old stuff. It'll be fine. Just fine. Alright, so how about that item that we needed to drop down to? Why don't we take care of that now before we continue on through the fog gate? Nice, but no thanks. Specifically, I don't need that because I already shoot arrows. They're made of soul. Alright, moving on. Furniture. You've met your match. Well, it's nice of the internet to warn us that there are in fact traps ahead, because this is a place where a first-time player can easily get killed off. The traps are not in the furniture. Traps are actually over there. If we touch the bloodstain, you'll see that that guy makes it to those barrels over there, and then swipes away at imaginary bees. That is because he was actually swiping away at imaginary fire. These barrels are the same explosive barrels that Dregling blew himself up on. And if we had gotten too close, that guy would have thrown a firebomb at us, and it would have detonated the barrels and killed us. Probably instantly. Alright. A lot of the enemies actually have firebombs now. They're upgraded. Now, this guy's a halberd, which has kind of a delay on the swing, so it's a little tougher to know when you're going to parry it. Okay. There's actually it's not really a hidden area, because there's a better way to get down there later on, but this is more like a hidden entrance to the kind of hidden area that you would never know about unless you had that message there, because there are some walls and ledges that you can just climb up on, and there's no way to tell which is which unless you just run into everything or have somebody who already knows tell you. Alright, so now that we're down here, there's a bunch of treasures to pick up, a bunch of guys to kill off, and there is also a friend in wait. But, I got my priorities straight. Let's start with murder. With that archer. Or maybe this guy that I didn't see there at all. Thank you very much to Lock On there for locking onto the guy that I couldn't see, because I was too far away from the archer. It actually kind of saved me there, because otherwise I would have gotten beaten senseless. The lotus we picked up heals bleeding. Bleeding is... well, in this game it's exactly like poison, really. There are 3 damage over time effects in this game. There's bleeding, poison, and plague. And they're all basically the same, except plague is really bad and does a lot more damage in a lot less time. Bleeding and poison, as far as I can tell, are basically the same, but they affect different enemies differently, or rather they have different resistances to them, and there are different upgrade paths for weapons to do them. Whereas Dark Souls, bleeding is 1 lump sum damage once you get past your opponent's bleed resistance. But then poison and plague are basically the same thing, except plague's called toxic. I'm actually a big fan of what they did with bleed in Dark Souls, and I kind of wish it was the same way here. Alright. What we just picked up were sets of basic upgrade stones. Sharp stone makes things sharper, obviously. It's the basic path upgrades for your weapons. Those can go to plus 10, and Boldman can make those adjustments, alterations, whatever you want to call them. And the hard stone is for your shields. There are no, you can't actually upgrade your armor. It's just, your shield and your weapons. So hardstone is for shields. In addition, there are other upgrade stones that can give, special properties to your weapons and shields, but only after they've reached a certain point in the basic upgrade path. In particular, you can make your shields become more resistant to magic, which is going to be handy at some point, because I don't know exactly what I'm going to be able to use in the way of good shields. Right now my plan is not to put a whole lot of points, if any, into strength, which precludes me from using a lot of the particularly powerful weapons. But that'll be okay, because things will hopefully not get close to me. because they'll be on fire or have a laser bolt arrow thing stuck through them. But that plan may change depending on how much I enjoy parrying things, or if there's a particular shield that I want to get, or that I want to be able to use successfully. And right now I kind of think there might be. But who knows? What I do know is that it's time to rescue a friend in need, who we haven't even met yet. Of course, he found himself surrounded by a bunch of torch-wielding, shield-wielding draglings. Because nothing in this game can be easy, not even making friends. Alright, first we've killed his tormentors. And then we've looted their bodies. And now we can finally meet Ostrava.
My thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude.
Now, let me tell you this. Ostrava is no Solaire. Solaire is a cool dude. Likes the sun. Handy to have around, you can summon him. This guy's just kind of a punk. I mean, he glows a bit, but he's no Solaire. He also doesn't really know where he's going. If we go ahead and follow Ostrava, he's actually just gonna go to that corner where all those other enemies were and run around like an idiot forever. The actual exit, or entrance, depending on which way you're heading through the level, is over here. Instead of being stuck on or rather hidden behind a ledge that you might not even think to jump through, this end is hidden behind a bunch of boxes that are very easy to break. First, though, let's go ahead and check on Ostrava, see how he's getting on in this dead-end area. Good job, Ostrava. Alright. So, notice how well this is hidden. Anybody who's 6 feet tall could probably see that it's back here. Anybody who's not probably also can see that it's back here. But these enemies can't. They aren't particularly bright. The other guy is, because he's right next to it. He's also looks reasonably tall. But all those other guys had no idea I was there, and it's just kind of funny. That guy still doesn't know I'm there, and he probably never will since he's dead now. Whoa, okay. Okay, buddy, you think you're clever jumping down? Well, that's what happens to clever people. The running attacks are actually really damaging. Sometimes I don't even want to fuck around with trying to parry them, because if you don't, you're just going to take a ton of damage. The Klingring helps, but my HP is still pretty low, since I have a pretty low vitality to begin with. I think it's only 10. Might be less, might only be 8. Can't quite remember. So if we go back this way, we're going to wind up where we started our whole adventure, which is good because there is actually a shopkeeper that we missed by jumping off of the ledge. Yeah, you don't want to attack here because you might actually hit the dude.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling you?
Not me. Let's take a look. This guy sells fire bombs. He also sells this plate armor, but that's useless to me. Fire bombs could be very useful, though. And there's also some basic weapons and shields. Nothing I particularly need, but I don't want him to feel bad, so let's buy a crescent moon
Thanks
grass.
for that. Come back soon.
Okay, moving on. course, there's even more barrels there. Those are actually neat, because I bet you could toss a firebomb back there and kill the guy that are normally waiting. Pretty sure there's guys normally waiting there. For some reason I thought it was these guys, but, you know, my memory might be off because of the whole going back around and looping through the level thing. All I know is that those guys shouldn't have fucked with me. And these archers, they're gonna get it just as soon as I figure out where the lock-on range is. There we go. Excellent. Now, we really do need to be careful around here. If you hear some Darth Vader-esque breathing when we're near the stairs, that's because there's a blue-eye knight waiting above. That is, of course, the sound they make. There he is. It's pretty smart, got his shield up. But a couple of blasts from the soul arrow is enough to get past his poise and make him drop the shield. Alright, progress is that way. But first this archer's going down. It's just... There's no kick move, which is a little unfortunate. But I can still knock him off the ledge. Don't think it killed him, though. I'm not seeing any souls coming my way, so he's alive down there somewhere. Waiting. Alright. Now we're going to start getting to some of the real interesting stuff. Let's see how this poor fellow died. Ah, backed into a corner. Well, we don't let that happen to us. Because there's this helpful internet message here. Tells us to attack. Well, there are some Indiana Jones boulders in there, but attacking this doesn't seem to be helping. Fortunately, this shed to the left is exactly the same. Contains more boulders. I'm not actually sure that you can avoid being hit there, but, you know what? Neither could all the Dreglings that were across the rampart here, and now they're dead. Much easier than fighting them. And looks like there's loot to boot. The broken sword is actually useful for something. Given the correct demon soul later, we can turn that into a unique weapon. More traps, huh? Well. That's right, there's alcoves. And how much you want to bet there's guys in each of those alcoves? Uh-huh. Yeah, I see you. Come on. Alright, maybe there's only one alcove, that is. But there's still two guys. And these are spear wielders. Spears are kind of nasty because you can keep your shield up while you're attacking with them. Actually, the same thing goes for the rapier that I'm using. But with the longer reach of the spear, magic's definitely the way to go for taking those guys out. Now, I'm supposed to go forward, but there's something worth seeing over here. No kidding. Beware of fire ahead. So, yeah, this is kind of a Dragon Happy Funland. Beginners should try this area later. Notice the scorched earth and what appears to be smoldering corpses. Definitely not a good idea to be here. It's possible to get the dragons to leave. You don't even have to kill them to do that, but we can't do it right now. So let's just progress with the level, shall we? In a nice, non-dragon way. There we go. Go to sleep. I wonder if you get better drops for killing people with ripostes. I mean, I'm certain that you don't, but that would be neat if the next game gave you a style modifier to the drop rates. That's easier to understand than humanity. Oh, and what do my eyes deceive? Or is that a dragon? Why, yes! That dragon somehow knew we were there and decided to just burn everything. What a helpful fellow. The scariest thing about that isn't, the impending death that would await you if, you ran into all that fire. It's the fact that there are still more enemies on that bridge that the dragon didn't manage to burn. So, what we gotta do here is lure him back to his perch over here. And then when he starts to rest and lets his guard down, we want to get back to the bridge as fast as we can and get by it before he can start strafing. Alright, so getting close to the items should trigger his return. Which it did. There he is. Now we just need to book it to the other end of that bridge while he's getting situated. And go! Go, 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 go. Ooh, loot. But go. Go, go, go. Don't even bother with these guys, just run. Just run. You'll barely make it. And made it. Of course, you still have to deal with these guys because they're going to run after you. But it's better them than the dragon. Oh, yeah, and you guys too. Don't think you got off easy. Right. Moving on. We are actually nearing the end, so now we are on the other side of the palace. This is the tower on the other end, and the first thing we need to do is this. Pulling that lever opens the central gate, and it reveals our first boss fight. Fun, right?